On January 25th, around 5 players were wiped for their usage of ults. Now, this usage was not in any way against the rules, and the admins have completely refused to talk about it publicly in the slightest bit, or even change the rules. So I'm going to be talking about it today, to try to bring it back into the light, and question why the staff team were allowed to invent a new rule into the game. So let's start with why these players were wiped. All of the 5 people wiped were using ults to AFK the greenhouse's rosewater flasks, essentially using the ults to gain a ton of money/usage of the flasks through these ults. As a result, the official reason for their wipes was for boosting detected on one or multiple Skyblock profiles. This came with the explanation of, this means you were found trading or gaining resources, coins, items, or duplicated gear in Skyblock in an illegitimate way. This includes, but is not limited to, modifiers, external hardware or software for purposeful use of alternate accounts, duplicating items, trading involving real-world items or currency, or another game currency to gain an advantage over other users. Now, if you take a look at that wipe reason, you may be thinking that the wipe is pretty reasonable. In that case, it seems to be explicitly against the rules as stated. However, if we take a deep dive into actual Hypixel rules, we will find under the abusive gameplay section that modifiers are disallowed, as well as external hardware or software, duplicating items, and IRL trading. However, what we don't find here, or anywhere for that matter, is anything that lists the purposeful use of alternate accounts. What the staff have done here is essentially create a whole new rule out of thin air, just because they believe it's unfair for these 5 people to be using their ults in that manner. Now, almost everyone agrees, even the wiped people, that their usage of ults was pretty unfair. However, the punishment given by the admins was far too extreme. This is a case of tens of thousands of hours being completely wiped in an instant, all due to a rule which hadn't even existed and still doesn't exist. This lack of trust has led to one of the wiped players, the now ex-#1 melon farmer named Chisel, completely quitting the game, regardless of if he gets unwiped, with the others likely following suit. Overall, I believe the staff handled this situation horribly. Whilst I do believe what the 5 people were doing with the ults was not the fairest thing in the world, I don't believe they should have been wiped for it without any warning. Let me know what you think in the comments about the situation, and let's hope for a shred of communication from the staff about this.